a very interesting session now because we are gonna move ahead towards the unified collaboration on projects. So we're gonna have a brief and insightful presentation on this. Unified collaboration on project is the practice of bringing together diverse teams and tools to work seamlessly on a shared project. It involves breaking down silos, fostering open communication, and leveraging technology to enhance productivity and innovation. So all the lovely people around, let's put our hands together and please welcome our next speaker, Mr. Rasesh Palav, Product Manager of Enterprise Products.
My name is Rasesh. I head the Enterprise Solutions team at Conceptia. So we are primarily responsible for implementing PDM PLM, which has been quite a recurring theme throughout the day-to-day, right? You have heard speaker after speaker harp about collaboration, harp about how PLM on cloud is the future way of making sure that your manufacturing throughput is up to the level that will take India to the next possible manufacturing superhouse, which Sharash sir alluded to earlier in the day. So without further ado, for the next 20 minutes or so, I will explain what is Cloud PLM, how it is enabled on the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, and which are the 4 main capabilities that will help you have a unified collaborative experience that will ensure that you are able to execute projects inside 3DEXPERIENCE platform seamlessly. What are those 4 capabilities? What are those 4 core roles on PLM? That is what we are going to see over the next 20 to 25 minutes, okay? So before we deep dive into this, why we need to go the cloud way? Why do we need the collaborative approach? That stems from the fact about the organization structure, typical engineering organization structure, okay? So you can see that any product development company typically has got multiple departments, okay? So there is someone which is into design, someone which is into product development, then that data moves over to manufacturing. There are internal stakeholders, there are external stakeholders like suppliers, okay? They need access to all this data, okay? But using traditional product development tools, processes, it has been a challenge because of the complex organizational hierarchy. The traditional collaboration methods are too outdated, okay? They are not in sync with today's product development requirements or global product development pressures, and there is always a need to simplify and make effective decision making. That is what collaboration is all about, okay? So this is one of the major factors why we need a more simplified approach to collaboration using the latest cloud technology. That is what 3DEXPERIENCE is all about, right? So let's see what are the typical organizational challenges. So not everyone in your organization who has a valid say in a product development process is a CAD user. That is a fact, okay? So there are many stakeholders internally that you need to collaborate with, contribute effectively to your product development process, but they do not have access to a CAD software. That is a fact, and that itself is a hindrance to effective collaboration. That is number 1. Then obviously, there is rising product complexity, which requires multidisciplinary tools, multidisciplinary CAD applications come into play, and not everyone has a collaborative product definition. That is, again, a hindrance to collaboration. Then, obviously, there is increasing competition that requires you to innovate at a faster rate, that requires you to capture ideas at a faster rate, okay? So that is something which is really crucial. And obviously, engineering as a source of rich 3D content, it's in absence of a agile product development framework powered by cloud on the 3DEXPERIENCE platform, they tend to throw the data in silos, okay? So data is simply thrown away without factoring a seamless digital thread, okay? So that has been a traditional challenge. Plus, overall, the demand for personalized products is changing. So that demands you to have a product development process in a much more better streamlined way than using traditional disconnected applications. So basically, this is what we want you to go for. We want a seamless platform that will help you to ideate, innovate, okay? It will help you to create, deploy, And ultimately, you will be able to gain, realize better value and profitability, and that will be the measure of your success. Okay, so what are the designer challenges? So those challenges that you saw on the previous slide were at a more macro level. At a micro level, at a designer level, there are several challenges which have been alluded here. So not everyone has full visibility to the entire multidisciplinary product development process. That is also a fact of the current product development framework, which is not on cloud. There are disconnected stakeholders across different business areas of the platform. Okay, and many of us spend too much time on spending non-value added activities. So designers spend a lot of time searching for data in spite of the data being there in the system. There is too much rework due to inability to find the data. So designers end up creating a lot of duplicate parts. That is something that even the PDM panel earlier in the day alluded to. There is a lot of rework, okay, and there is a lot of miscommunication, which ends up in procurement, procuring the wrong part, or manufacturing, producing, or fabricating the wrong item. Okay, so these are some of the challenges which can simply be avoided if you adopt a more modern, agile product development process that gives you a single source of truth, which we all are talking about through the 3DEXPERIENCE platform. Yeah. So these are typically the challenges, and these challenges are resolved by our 4 capabilities. So you need first of all, agile change management process. So you require a strategic closed-loop collaborative change process that clearly communicates change decisions. You need a more effective project management. Everyone does projects here. No one is something that hasn't executed a project. Okay, you are part of projects on a daily basis, so you need effective project management, and those project managements need to be tied with your deliverables on a daily basis. Okay, and you need effective BOM management. Okay, so whether you're a CAD user, whether you're a lead designer, whether you're a non-CAD user, okay, but you are a critical stakeholder in any product definition, you need more effective BOM management, and that is what the last 2 capabilities talk about. Okay, so primarily there are 4 roles. There is something called as change manager, there is something called as project planner, there is something called as engineering release, and there is something called as 3D product architect. These 4 roles are the core PLM roles that are offered on the platform. So over the next 20 minutes, if you are interested, we will deep dive into all these roles. Otherwise, let's see what time allows us to demonstrate. But I will be especially keen on demonstrating at least change manager, project planner, and the engineering release. Okay, 3D product architect is more or less having the same capability as engineering release. But let's see. So let's go into change manager. Okay, so as an organization, no one has escaped from change. Do you agree? Is change a constant in everybody's life as a professional? Right? No one can escape from change, and change can come from multiple sources. Right? Do you agree? Audience, come on. I understand it's a fang end of the day, but I need some interactive audience here. Okay, so basically, change can come from quality issues, right? Agreed? What about safety concerns? Obviously, okay, your internal stakeholders, your operators need to be safe. Your customers who are using your products, they need to be safe. If safety concerns are there, obviously there should be a change in your product development process that will create a much better, safer product, right? Okay, regulatory requirements. Who is into medical device, pharma, government, regulatory, contracts? Okay, so regulatory requirements, so if you are complying to certain standards, okay, FDA standards, S1000D standards, okay, ISO standards, and so on, okay, you need your product development process to comply with those regulatory requirements, and if you are not complying, you are liable to a change process, okay? Then, customer requirements. Obviously, this is one of the most common change triggers, right? Your customer, they themselves want a change to be incorporated at the last moment. So your product development process itself should be responsive enough to accommodate that change without burning a hole in your pocket, right? Okay, cost reduction. So obviously, that is something that is a more internal prerogative. Maybe your top management decides that what manufacturing process your product is subjected to may not be more economical. Okay, so suppose you have gone for molding as a way of getting the final finished product, but maybe molding is too expensive. So then that initiates a change request. And also obsolete technology, right? So these are some of the triggers. These are some of the common reasons for change and organizations to have an effective change management strategy, right? Everyone agrees? Okay, so now there are many stakeholders in a change process. Okay, there is someone who will raise the change requests or who will create issues. Okay, there will be a set of individuals or there will be a group that will validate that change, that will analyze that change, that will have an impact analysis done. Okay, then there'll be a certain individual that will make sure that that change request is converted in a change order that triggers multiple change actions to be executed by different stakeholders. That may be a CAD user, that may be a manufacturing user, that depends upon where the change actions are impacting, right? So it's basically a multi-stakeholder, multi-iterative process, right? Okay, so you need to make sure that any effective change management process has got all the traceability, all the sign-offs from these various stakeholders. Okay, that is the hallmark of a good, effective change management process, right? Everyone with me? Right? Okay. So basically, what we are going to see is in our demo, there are various stakeholders. So there is Megan manager and Eric engineer who are primarily responsible for overseeing the change management in our demo scenario. Okay. There is Sam supplier who takes care of the manufacturing part of the process. He is mostly responsible for all tooling, responsible for machines and making sure that all the fabricated items that your company manufactures, that's his responsibility. He's also a key stakeholder. Somewhere in our story, our business owner, he is also going to be in the fray. Okay, he needs to know what exactly the change is costing because he always has, money in mind. Okay, so he is going to offer 2 cents if the cost is something of a factor. Yeah. Then obviously the designers are ultimately the ones who are going to implement the change, who are going to execute the change. So these are our stakeholders in our change management story. And typically what will happen is some of the stakeholders will be part of a change control board. Any company here has a change control board? Anyone? I would love to meet you. Okay, so basically a change control board is a committee of stakeholders, typically from different departments that vet the change, that validate a change, that do the impact analysis and give a firm go, no-go for the change process, right? Okay, so, and in our demo, Megan will also act as a change coordinator. So basically, she's the one who is going to look into different change requests raised by different stakeholders within the company and is going to take the decision of raising the change orders, yeah? So let's see a simple walkthrough of this demo. So for this demo, we are going to refer to this bowhead data set. So this is a fantastic product. It was already a product showcase, I believe, last year. Okay, it's a mountain bike. Okay, that is totally pedaled using your own arms, and you can understand the endurance required by an individual to have this traverse on treacherous path like a mountain. Okay, so there is a new version of this mountain bike called RX, which is motor powered. Okay, and this product is going to be the centerpiece of our change management scenario. Yeah. So further, what specifically we are going to deep dive into from our change management case study is the swing arm. Okay, so this is going to be the core item that is going to be impacted by the change. Okay, so let's see how this, because what happens is this swing arm is something which is easily susceptible to different shocks, different pressures. Okay, and that has been identified by the designer. Okay, so the designer has internally sensed that this component, which is a single piece, so you can see this is a single piece, okay, this can create issues around serviceability. So if this component fails due to any vagaries of the customer usage, of the end user usage, then we will face a lot of issues in recreating this component because of the complexity in which the product has been developed. You can see it will be very difficult to machine this component, right? Everyone agrees? Isn't it? So obviously, if the concern around serviceability is addressed, it will address the additional benefit of reduced production costs, isn't it? Everyone agrees? Okay, so this is a valid change issue. This is a valid problem that has been identified by someone internal. Okay, your design engineer himself has raised this. So let's see how this will be raised as part of a closed loop, fully traceable change management process. That is our objective. Okay, everyone with me? Okay. Hey, come on, man. Your voice is diminishing as soon as my duration of speech is increasing. Come on, let's show some encouragement. Okay, so let's proceed. So basically, so this is the resolution. So obviously, as an internal stakeholder, you can't simply raise the problem. You have to give the solution also. Okay, so the solution to this thing is that instead of a single piece part, Dan is suggesting that this should be made into multi-body parts. This can be made into a left rear swing arm and a right rear swing arm. Okay, so that the risk of serviceability, if any thing happens, it will happen to either one of the arm, so that the overall cost of servicing that part or replacing that part is less, and that in fact improves your production cost also. So that's the idea. Okay, so we are going to raise an issue, okay, on the affected item, and ultimately the process is going to result in having this item inside the assembly. Okay, and everything will be tracked. Yeah, that's the idea. That's the key message. Okay, so let's see. So now so basically this is going to be the flow. Okay, so there is a set process. The change manager acts upon some of the best industry standard practices for change management. So this is going to be the workflow. There will be a change request that will be raised by Dan. Okay, then that will send a formal, issue will be raised by Dan. It will trigger a formal, change process. Okay, that will be triggered by Megan, the manager. A change control board will analyze, okay, the change. Okay, and then there will be a go no go decision that will result into a change order. The change order will be closed only after multiple change actions are triggered that will be acted upon by different stakeholders who will be responsible for implementing the change. And once that action is completed, the entire change process is completed. Okay, so this is going to be the standard workflow that our change manager role will encourage, okay, as part of industry standard best practices. Yeah, so the advantage of this serialized process is that all the sign-offs, all the approvals at every stage are tracked. Okay, so that is one advantage. So you have an end-to-end change management process, which is a closed-loop process, and ultimately, as part of the sign-offs and approvals tracked at every stage, you have full traceability in the change management, which is not the case with conventional change management techniques. Okay, all right. So let's see now. So for every stage in the workflow, we are going to go through some videos, okay? So now, this is how a change request will be processed, okay? Sorry, I need more time. Sorry, guys. So basically, so this is now, we are raising a change request through the SolidWorks. So he's a designer, right? So he should have the capability to raise a problem report right from the SolidWorks interface. So basically, the change request, now this is from the SolidWorks interface. So as part of the cloud PLM capability, okay, right from the SolidWorks interface, Dan, the designer, can raise a new change request by accessing the change execution widget, which is available within the SolidWorks interface. He will enter the rudimentary details. He will make sure that the severity is high, considering the cost impact of this issue. Okay, and what he does is he simply drags and drops the identified item, the concerned item, which is the main issue to be addressed. Simple drag and drop, and he will also make sure that he adds the relevant stakeholder. So he will add So he is not concerned, with who all the multiple stakeholders are responsible for the change. He will simply add the relevant change coordinator, and that's it. Okay, so the change request is created in the system so easily. Okay, so once you have the change request created, okay, so you can see how the change request was easily created. It's an integrated CAD change request process. Okay, it's right within your favorite CAD application. Okay, you can easily directly attach the reference CAD data, the impacted item, simple drag and drop into the browser, and it is attached to the change request. Okay, and you can easily include and notify the stakeholders. So in this case, Dan was easily able to notify the Megan, the manager, who is the change coordinator, designated change coordinator for the organization, right? So that was the first piece of the workflow. Now let's see how the formal change request is created by Megan, who is the change coordinator. Okay, so we are now looking at formalizing the request. Can we play the video? Right, so now we are logged in as Megan, the manager. So as soon as she goes to the change request, okay, it will open a different window. As soon as she sets the motion, the change request in work, okay, she can add multiple members to the change request. So here we can add different users, we can add different groups, we can even add a custom route. Okay, so here you are seeing that there is a route which has been added as a change management stakeholder. So this route itself has got a specific workflow in which you are required to have multiple approvals. So there is one engineering approval by Eric, there is one engineering manufacturing approval by Sam, the supplier, and once they two approve, then only if Ben, the business guy, approves, then only the change request will be formally approved, and then you can go into the change order. Okay, so that's the idea, okay, of having a particular route as part of the change management approval process. Okay, right? So as part of this formalized request, what you get? Okay, you have an end-to-end process captured in a browser. Okay, we are all working in a browser. Please remember that, right? You can make sure to leverage your company-defined workflows or company-defined approval templates, which are very easy to author and capture. Okay, that will take care of the sign-offs, and you can make sure that through a formal request, you have all the critical members, critical stakeholders informed. That's the key part of this change management workflow, right? Let's go. Now, this is something which is most unique to the change manager role. You have to analyze what is the impact of this change. Okay, so again, this is something that will be done by the change coordinator, or it can be done by a change control board. Okay, so basically what Megan will do is, so basically she will create an impact analysis. Okay, she will make sure that the affected item is part of that impact analysis. Okay, as part of the impact analysis, different objects that will be impacted by the change to just one item, that will be automatically captured. Okay, also Megan can make sure that there are specific approval parameters or impact analysis parameters that can be taken into consideration. So whether it is cost, whether it is the references that are changed, whether it is the time, the effort, all can be monitored and parameterized as part of an impact analysis, based upon which the different business stakeholders can take a go, no-go decision. So that is what will be done as part of the impact analysis. So this is something which is unique to the change manager role. Okay, for the just for the records, any change management process has got 4 main phases. That is change initiation, change analysis, okay, change validation, and change execution. So change analysis or change impact is something that is unique to the change manager role. Yeah. Okay, so let's move ahead. So this is what the impact analysis will show. What kind of items are being captured? Okay, so can we have the video for this? Right, so once after the analysis is done, now we are at the time where the go, no-go decision will be made. Okay. So as part of the impact analysis, you can investigate upstream, downstream relations. Okay, you can quantify metrics around the impact of change that will give a clear idea to the relevant business stakeholder. And you can also then make sure whether to go for the change order or not. Okay, so at this point, you are making sure that all the relevant stakeholders are having enough information to justify the change. Okay, so at this point, okay, what we can do is we can log in as Eric the engineer. Okay, and we can see what are the different tasks. So automatically he'll be notified that you have to approve a certain task that is pending. Okay, so he will approve. Okay, you have to go for a again authentication so that you make sure that there is no security breach. Okay, and then what we can do is yeah, this is done. So then Megan will also make sure that the supplier has given the approval. Okay, so she will wait for the supplier to, can you play the video? Video, please. It's not there? Okay, so basically the supplier will also give the approval, Ben will also give the approval, and then the change order will be kicked off. So at this stage, if Ben doesn't give the approval, the change order will not be initiated. Okay, only after that route, all the stakeholders are approving that, okay, we are okay to go ahead with the change order, then the change order will be initiated. Okay, so now from the same change request, okay, we can initiate the change order. Okay, so can we play the video, please? Right. Okay, so now we go into the same change request. We have the option to create a new change order. Okay, so we will enter the necessary details. Okay, and automatically whatever information was captured by the change request will be there in the change order. The change order also has its own life cycle. Its multiple maturity states are there. We'll set to in work. We'll make sure that different members are there. So the same members which are part of the change request are captured by the change order. Okay, so now what we can do is, so you can see as part of the change order, you have a centralized location for organizing change actions. Okay, you have all the information associated from the change request and the impact analysis. Okay, so now what we have to do, we have to trigger the different actions to be taken up by your actual stakeholders that will do the work associated with the issue or the problem. Okay, so now we have to raise multiple change actions from the same change order. Okay, everyone with me? Right? Interesting? Okay, very good. I like to meet the person who said very, very interesting. So let's go for adding the new change order. So can you play the video, please? I'm sorry, I am making our backend team work a lot at the fag end of the day. Okay, so now, yes, so this is how new change action can be created from the same change order, which is linked with the original change request. Okay, so this change action is supposed to be worked upon by Dan, the designer, right? So as part of the proposed changes, whatever items are being evaluated by the impact analysis, the same items can be made to be part of the proposed changes. So these are the items that were affected and that should be updated as part of doing the change on the original item. Okay, and once you have the proposed changes done, you can also make sure what is the intended change of having this change order executed. So once you have the in work, automatically all these items will be set to the new revision and that will be reflected in the realized changes. So hope everyone understand the difference between proposed change and realized change, right? So now we have a ready-made set of items that will be available to the designer when he is ready to make the change inside the CAD platform, in this case, our beloved SolidWorks. So similarly, another change action has been added, okay, for the fixture, for the for the different stakeholder, okay. So that's how change action has been captured inside the system. All right, so once, so what is the benefit of these change actions? There are automated realized change documents. Okay, you can assign individual change tasks and you can track change. That is the whole idea. You have complete traceability throughout the process, right? From the problem initiation to the change request, to the validation, to the change order creation, to the change action execution. Okay. So now ultimately, what is there to be done? Now we need to go to SolidWorks. Okay. So let's go to SolidWorks, our favorite CAD system from 20 years or so, or is it more? Okay. I believe it's 20 years or more. Okay. So let's go. So now Dan, the designer, will do the change. He will do the magic in SolidWorks. I will not harp about SolidWorks. You all know you are better SolidWorks modelers than me, for sure. Okay. So basically, Dan, the designer, does his magic. He creates the required 3-piece item instead of the 1-piece item. Okay. And similarly, Debbie, the designer, also does her magic. So while she does her magic, the system does the magic for her, actually. Yeah. So when she's working on the model, the system automatically makes her to update all the revisions. Okay. And there she, gets access to all the latest version. And then she does the change. She adds a fixture related to the latest multi-body item. And then she can set the change execution to be under the, she can proceed it to the next stage. Okay. So once this is done, okay, all the change actions are complete. Okay. And all the, work will be done. So this is what is the deliverable of a change action that is centralized. You have controlled work being executed for change. You have collaborative design workflows, and you have integrated change action in CAD. Fantastic. Okay. All right, and then it is complete. Okay, you can close the loop. And this is how a complete change management request is there. All right, so you can see that, these are the proposed changes, the approvals. All the notifications will be triggered. Eric will do his job. He will approve it. Okay. Similarly, all the other approvals will be in place. Okay. One good thing about this is you can compare. So obviously, what change you have done, you'll be able to compare. That is a good thing. So on the right, you see is the old item. On the left is the revised item. Okay. So you can clearly see what is the difference, what has been added, what has been deleted, right? And when you go to the change order approval itself, you can see that only the business guy is supposed to approve. Once he approves it, the change management process is complete. Okay, and once it is complete, you can see that all the change management items are tracked in one place. So if you go to the relevant change request, you can see all the relations, all the change information, multiple change actions, the impact, the change order, the impact analysis, and the routes that were all part. So you have a complete history of the entire change management process in one thing. I will quickly deep dive into project management. So change is done. Okay, I will not talk about change. Okay, so it allows you to lower your risks, make sure that all change management is in one place, and reduce your product development time. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So this is all good. All good. All good. All good. Okay. Project planner. Who is a project manager here? Huh? Okay, so basically, project planning is something that is traditionally been a bane of engineering because many companies use disconnected project management applications like Excel or Microsoft Project, which do not have the intelligence of tracking engineering deliverables that are there in SolidWorks. Okay, so what we're going to see is we're going to say project planning, task execution, and project update. Let's quickly go through it. Okay, so this is a web, again, a 100% web-based tool. So you can easily create tasks inside this interface. All you have to do is to create a task, okay, give the relevant title, give the relevant description, make sure that you have a stakeholder assigned for the task. You can enter the duration, you can enter the buffer of the duration, and you can create, okay, as simple as that. Very, very easy, very efficient. And immediately the task is visible in a Kanban style dashboard, okay. So for the simplicity of the demo, multiple tasks have been created in a similar way for mechanical design and documentation. Okay, so if you go to the schedule, you will be able to see a Gantt chart. Okay, so this is a better way of visualizing the project schedule. You can easily add a milestone. You can set a date for the milestone, and then you can link the milestone with the individual tasks so that you have a clear project schedule in hand. So now, after the milestone is created, very quickly through the drag and drop, we can create a relationship between the tasks. So, there are typical project management relationships, right? Finish to start, start to start, okay, end to end, and so on. So here we are creating a simple finish to start relationship between different tasks. Okay, so that creates an agile sort of a waterfall kind of a project. And then ultimately the last task will be connected to the milestone so that you have an automated project schedule, right? So this is something that is very easy inside the application, okay? And then what you can do is you can create an additional task, okay? For this task, you are assigning a designer who has already been given a specific task earlier in the piece, okay? So after you enter the duration and give the required information, okay? You see that it has been created, okay, based upon the fact that based upon the availability. Okay, so since Dan is already busy he's not available, we will assign that activity instead of Dan to another user. So we will go to the members tab, and instead of Dan, we will remove it, and we'll make sure that Debbie gets the job done. So as soon as Debbie is given the job, you can see that the tooling shifts along with the parallelly with the documentation, and this is what exactly we want. Okay, so once this has been done, we can see that we can capture this ideal project as a baseline. So baseline helps you to track the variation from the ideal project to the real world project. So that is a very important project management capability, right? So once we have the baseline, we can see our project schedule in multiple ways. We can see the summary wherein we have the different milestones, we have the tasks listed, we have the task burn down chart, and so on. Okay, so that is about project management. I will not harp on it more. Okay, so similarly, you can do the task execution and so on. Okay, so basically, all these tasks can be linked up. Okay, you can have markups for the task. They can be added as attachment inside the respective task. Okay, so here you have improved collaboration and real-time status visibility. Okay, and ultimately you can update the project. Okay. Okay, so I will move on to the next. Okay, engineering release. So by far this is the most important topic. Okay, because BOM management is something which is one of the most important capabilities of any PLM application. So engineering release is that capability which will help you to manage your product structures much more intuitively, much more effectively than conventional BOM management workflow that you have been following. Okay, so let us see what is part of the engineering release. So typically what you have been doing right now inside SolidWorks 3D CAD is you have been utilizing the drawing tool to create a bill of material. You have leveraged the drawing to create a SolidWorks bill of material, and then you ultimately output this bill of material as an Excel file for downstream applications. Okay, but as soon as you do this process, okay, it creates a disconnect. Okay, so once the Excel is passed on to the stakeholders, any change in the SolidWorks side, the Excel is not able to capture, and vice versa, right? So this process is relatively outdated, and you have an archaic bill of material table which is very fundamental in nature, which doesn't capture the very essence of complex advanced product definition that your products normally have, right? So enter engineering release. Okay, so this is a pure web-based app. This is something that is supposed to be used by a stakeholder that doesn't have access to the CAD software, but is required to create product structures on a regular basis and offload much of the work to the designers rather than designers breaking their head inside the CAD application. Okay, so again, this is a pure web-based application. Let's see what are the three main buckets of engineering release. So this allows better way of interacting and visualizing your product structures. It allows you to finalize and release your BOMs in a much more efficient way. And it also allows to reuse and define new products from existing product data. That is something which is very crucial. Okay, so let's see how it supports interaction and visualization. Okay, so this is SolidWorks. All right, so you know this is SolidWorks. So this is a typical bill of material output. So this is a parts only output. So you can see the long list of parts. Okay, so instead, if you go into the engineering release, you can simply drag and drop. Okay, and this is a much more better way of visualizing your product structure. Okay, you can expand at various levels. So here you can see how quickly you have expanded to multiple levels within the structure. Okay, you can also make sure that you go to the deepest level of the product structure. So here, you cannot expand further, okay? Then you can filter your structure according to the metadata. So here, I want to see all the materials that are only 6061, okay? Typically, this engineering release app is disconnected to the CAD, but through the 3D Play connection, you can visualize the product structure in a much more intuitive way. Okay, so whatever items you select on the left, they will be highlighted on the visualization in the right? And then you can make sure that all the information is available to you at the fingertips, which is much more than what Excel could offer to you, right? Okay, so easily it is a most rich task-centric user interface and rich data visualization that one has to one has easy access through the engineering release app. Let's go for finalize and release. Yeah, so basically we want to see which items are not under the latest revision, so we can quickly group it, okay, and we can do an update revisions. Okay, so it will do its job, and it will make sure that the relevant items are updated, but it also gives an error saying that the parent item is also supposed to be revised. Instead of that, we can have another option of updating revisions on the entire structure, and this will magically find the relevant organization structure item that will allow a more robust product update. And then we can easily release that from the same interface. Okay, here we have the option of modifying the quantities also. So here there is a certain derailer component that we need to identify. We need to make sure that that derailer component has a particular alternate, okay, because there is a issue with the current supplier. So very easily we can create an alternate part. All we have to do is to have that alternate part in the system, and it will be tagged. So improve collaboration and reduce costly errors. That is and we go for reuse and define. So basically, as part of the reuse and define, okay. Yeah, can we have the video, please? So from an existing product structure, we can quickly make a new product structure through the duplicate option. So if we go into the advanced, we can have multiple options here. We can choose to reuse, or we can simply duplicate. So whichever items are supposed to be modified from the product structure, only those items are duplicate. And then you have the option of choosing duplicate with drawings. Okay, and that makes sure that you have altogether a new product structure. Okay, then you can go for, again, making sure that you have a specific sub-assembly item replaced by a revision. So you can utilize the search, and you can make sure that the item is replaced. Okay, so these are all the different capabilities that you have in the product release engineer. You will be able to have different product filter views. You will be able to set enterprise item numbers. You will be able to add new product structures. So you'll be able to quickly reuse and validate new product structures from existing data. Okay, so efficiently reuse data for new product definition. That is the deliverable of the engineering release app. Okay, I'm going to skip 3D product architect. Let me directly go to the summary. This is very similar to the engineering release role. Only thing is, this is much more for a conceptual design and for a top-down design. Okay, so if anyone interested in having this capability highlighted, let me know. Okay, so this is the last slide. So basically, these are the 4 roles that I wanted to highlight. Change manager, complete change management process from start to finish, complete traceability, okay, all sign-offs all captured automatically. Project planner, complete project management tool, connected with your engineering deliverables, engineering release for smart BOM management, and 3D product architect for creating digital mockups and making sure that your design reviews are much more efficient and seamless. That's it. Thank you. These are the key summary and takeaways.
Thank you so much.